Today I've got a hankering for some homemade biscuits and sausage gravy. You ever heard of 2-ingredient biscuits? Well, if you haven't, I'm here to show you how to make 2-ingredient biscuits. They are the best biscuits you will ever eat. Very simple and easy to make. They will melt in your mouth. And we're going to take a little bit of this sausage and make us some homemade sausage gravy. Oh, but I forgot the best part. I'm going to show you how to make homemade biscuits and sausage gravy for one person. Yes, you can have biscuits and gravy with no leftovers and no food waste. Let me show you how. I'm just going to take a 6-inch iron skillet, and to that, this is going to be for our biscuits, to this skillet I'm just going to add a teaspoon of bacon grease. We're going to stick that in a 425 degree oven to let it preheat while we're making our biscuit dough. Okay, while our skillet is preheating in the oven with the bacon grease in it for the biscuits, we're going to get started on our biscuit dough. You want to take some self-rising flour, get you a bowl. You're going to put a half a cup of self-rising flour in your bowl. And to that, you want to add heavy whipping cream. These are the only 2 ingredients you're going to use for these biscuits, and I promise you they are delicious. So, to our half a cup of flour, we're going to start with a 1/4 cup. We're going to start with a 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. And I'm going to start with a spoon. I'll wind up with my hands in this dough at some point. But right now I'm just going to start with a spoon. We're going to add another 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream in. So right now we've used a half a cup of self-rising flour and a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. Okay, this is what our dough is looking like at this point. If it seems a little wet, that's okay. You can always add a little flour. I'm going to take a little flour and I'm going to sprinkle some out on my little baking mat right here. Just a little. I also want to put some of this flour on my hands. And we're going to turn our dough out onto our baking sheet. I'm sorry, our baking mat. I keep calling it a baking sheet, but it's a baking mat. So you want to knead this dough just a little bit. You want to take it and flip it, turn it, press it down, flip it again, turn it, press it down. At any time, if you need to add some flour in, feel free to add it. This looks just about right. So you've taken half a cup of flour, half a cup of self-rising flour, and a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. You've combined those 2 ingredients. Turn it out onto your, you can do it on a kitchen counter if you want to. I just chose not to. And I'm going to split this dough in half. You can cut your biscuits if you want to, but I don't feel the need. I'm going to roll those up. I'm going to turn it just a little more. I want them to have some flaky layers. I'm just going to kind of shape them and form them into the size that I want. Do the other one the same way. This one looks like it might be a little smaller, and that's okay. They don't have to be exact. This isn't a perfect cooking channel. This is a cook for one. Improvise, do it how you want to, make it work. kind of channel. So that's close enough. We're going to get these put in our pan just as soon as it finishes preheating. Okay, we've got our skillet out of the oven that's been preheating at 425 degrees. We're going to put our 2 biscuits in the skillet. I'm just going to place them in like so. It's okay that they're touching. If you want to use a bigger skillet, you can, or you can put them on a pan. It doesn't really matter. We're going to pop these in a 425 degree oven. I'll let you know at the end exactly how long it took to cook these because I never time it. So I'm going to time it for you today so that you'll know approximately how long it takes to cook them. In the meantime, while our biscuits are cooking, we're going to get started on our sausage gravy. So what I'm doing, I'm taking one of these sausage patties. The rest of them I will either stick in the refrigerator. I'll plan my meals for the next few days, and I'll put any in the refrigerator that I may need for the next couple of days. But the rest of them will go in the freezer. I will package them for the freezer and they will be used at a later date. It's okay if you don't have roll sausage to make sausage gravy. Just take a single patty, sausage patty, or 2 if that's what you want. I think mine is just going to need 1. I'll start with 1 and we'll go from there and see if I need to add a second. But let's get that started cooking. My sausage is browned, so I'm going to get it transferred to this bowl for the time being. Once you've got your bacon grease in your pan, you just want it to get nice and hot before you add any of your flour in. Okay, my bacon grease is nice and hot, so I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of flour. And you want to whisk that around. Your goal here is to cook this flour, to cook the flour taste out. And this is what is going to help thicken your gravy up. So you just want to whisk that around. You don't want it to burn. You see all those bits of sausage in our gravy mix, in our flour mixture. You want to cook this for about 2 or 3 minutes. I usually do mine about 3. And you just want to cook it till it's kind of browning up. But till you've cooked that flour taste out. This has been cooking now for about 3 minutes. So now we're going to add our milk. Or if you don't have milk, you can use water. And you can add your water in here. I'm going to be adding 3/4 of a cup of milk in. You want to add your liquid in and start whisking that around. It's still on a low to medium heat. I'm somewhere in between. I don't want to cook it too fast. I don't want it to have lumps, and to do that, to not have any lumps, you need to be continually whisking it. It is going to start to thicken up because of the flour, but it will thicken up out of nowhere just all of a sudden. So you have to stay on top of it. I am going to be adding in some salt. You're going to salt to taste. You're going to season to taste because I'm also going to add in black pepper. To me, it's just not gravy without some black pepper in it. Just continue to whisk that around until your gravy starts to thicken. Still whisking. It's starting to thicken up just a little bit. Keep in mind, if you're making homemade gravy, it's one of those things that you have to have patience with because you don't want to cook it too fast because it will clump up and it can burn, and you don't want to do that. So just have a little patience when making your gravy. Get it to the consistency that you like. I'm almost ready to go ahead and add my sausage back in. I want it to get just a little thicker before I do. I'm going to go ahead and add my sausage back in. Just whisk it around, incorporate it into your gravy. That's looking delicious. But you still want to whisk it. It's almost where I need it to be. And my biscuits are looking like, let's see, they are almost done. They need a couple more minutes and we'll get this all put together. I've got my gravy turned on low so I can keep it hot while I'm waiting on my biscuits to get finished. But you do want to stir it, you know, occasionally, just to make sure it's not getting too thick. If it does start to get too thick, just add a little more liquid in, just a little bitty bit at a time, because you don't want to get it too thin. But this is what you're looking for. Everybody's taste is different. Everybody likes a different consistency, but this is what I like for gravy for my biscuits. That's what I'm looking for. So we'll check on our biscuits and see if we can get this plated up. These are the bottom of my biscuits. I thought, just in case anybody wanted to see the bottom of the biscuits, using bacon grease in your pan browns them up really nice, and it's going to give it a lot of extra flavor. Okay, we're going to get some of this gravy put on these biscuits. Okay, here we go. Biscuits and gravy for one. It's a double. If I'm going to go to the trouble of making biscuits and gravy, I'm eating a double, because this will do me till dinner. But doesn't that look just absolutely delicious? Used all of our gravy because I made just enough for one person. So that's how you make biscuits and gravy, homemade biscuits and homemade gravy for one person. Let's go eat. I'm almost finished with those biscuits and gravy, but I just wanted you to see, if we can get that close to see, how fluffy these biscuits are. And 2 ingredients. How easy is that? See how fluffy? Light and airy and fluffy. Oh, they're absolutely delicious. Who knew? Self-rising flour and heavy whipping cream. Go make you some biscuits. Enjoy those biscuits for one. You can be one person and still enjoy the food you love without having a ton of leftovers if you don't want them. Go enjoy those biscuits.